So first of all, I want to thank our customers, Trimble, Fujitsu, and Kone for their remarkable presentations today. I must say that I am humbled to see how much innovation and new services have been built on BASEN. And I have to say that looking how real the business has become on BASEN, it is something that I was dreaming of before establishing BASEN in 2001, and now it's very much closer to reality as ever. So BASEN has now been operating for 19 years, so next year is our 20th anniversary. And to be exact, BASEN was established on December 7, 2001, so it will be 19 in a few days from now. But originally, the core features of BASEN, fault tolerance, scalability, and inherently distributed architecture, they have their roots in the Finnish military aviation, just like Carlos briefly mentioned. But they are more relevant than ever today, I would say. Well, we are seeing the requirement of scalability and also tolerance for all kinds of crises like COVID-19, and also the inherent distribution that we built into our platform that is kind of continuously used by our customers. So it was 2001 when we started designing the platform, and in 2002, the first application of the platform, the scalable and fault-tolerant network and service management environment for telecom operators and large multinational enterprises was launched, and then that for some time that was the biggest of our business lines. But now in 2020. We have a proven track record of global customers who are building new services on BASEN. And then currently, if we look at our 12 data centers globally, we are processing more than, I think it's closer to 1.5 million transactions per second continuously for different applications. And we have customers in more than 80 countries right now. And here you can see some of the largest of them, including Deutsche Telekom and Telenor, and also today's speakers, Kone, Trimble, and Fujitsu. And just like Nordea said that companies should design themselves within the customer business, so be kind of an integral part of creating more business for customers. So that is something that we have succeeded in. And looking at this year only, even though there is the COVID-19 crisis going on, BASEN is looking at the strongest growth ever this year, and also the strongest profit. And that's because many of our customers have started emphasizing the digital services and also the reliability of the network components that they have been offering to their customers, and that makes us especially proud. So you were hearing just from Chris about cruise sites. Many people have asked me and BASEN that, how do we dare to take such a responsibility that if our platform fails, that it might be that hundreds or even thousands of employees cannot actually get to work. But that's actually just normal business for BASEN, because we have built the platform in a way that we always are in control, that we can do something when there are adverse telecom environments or some other issues or server failures. We always think ahead with that. Also with Fujitsu, when we are taking full factories on our platform collecting data, from the floor and making then real-time decisions on where to produce different things in globally. Having failures in such a system can cost millions of dollars easily. But when that's built in from the beginning, that's something that we really need to make sure of. Also looking at Kone, where we are in a smaller role, we are monitoring many of the telecom connections to the actual elevators throughout the world. However, that's a critical part that without ensuring the reliability, the whole the Kone the service design path might be in jeopardy. And we are looking currently together at many other opportunities within Kone. Also, just like Michiko was saying, that we are emphasizing the digitalizing the real customer experience on, and not just moving from product to service, but also putting the customer in the center. Looking towards the future, for the past couple of years, and even more than that, we have been creating our own Spime CES environment alongside with BASEN platform, and now we have a few prototype customers there. And when we see that building services like Cruise Site or Fujitsu Pattaya will be even easier in the coming years, and now we have also a lot more resources to put into it. However, we are going to maintain our flexibility and scalability at all times, because we still want to take also the small businesses as our customers, because we really don't know which one will become the new Uber or Airbnb. So even when we are serving mostly large enterprises in the billion scale, it's very important that we scale also to the small end, so that when an entrepreneur has an idea that, you know, that I like to offer my service globally and to reach billion end customers. So we have the capability for that, because we are independent from third-party clouds and let's say the big players in the world. We can provide completely independent infrastructure to our customers, utilizing our own intellectual property. And this is something that we will put even more emphasis in the future on, how to onboard new types of services very quickly and also affordably, and so that customers can also forecast and how much does it cost to put core components of their business on the BASEN platform. But with that, I would like to thank also the magnificent team, my sales and marketing team, who has put together this virtual event. It will be, as Corina said in the beginning, we have always held the event in a different setting. So now we have used the virtual card. So I'm looking forward to next year. So what do they come up with? So thank you very much. And with that, I'd like to hand over back to Carlos.
Thank you very much, Pasi. It was indeed a very nice presentation. And we have a good number of questions in here that will be good to jump to the Q&A section. Our first question is, I saw the SPIME2020 app about anti-fragility. Could you elaborate how a traditional business like a private small walk-in clothing store could plan for anti-fragility with the know-how that we have now from this global crisis?
I think anti-fragility is a fairly new term, and with the financial crisis of 2008 and now with the COVID crisis, it has gotten a bit more prominence. And I believe that it's mostly about practicing and rehearsing. So just like one of my mentors, our board member, General Lindbergh, many times says that, you know, that if you have contingency plans and emergency plans, they are useless unless you practice them and see and have these kind of training sessions every now and then. So I think that's one of the most important lessons to companies, that they should practice these adverse conditions.
Thank you very much. Our next question from Nora TU. How do you execute transformation leadership at BASEN, and how do you bring it across your customers?
Well, within BASEN, it's a continuous process. So we have these internal workshops almost, let's say, every couple of weeks to kind of foster different type of thinking and kind of see how we could support our customers better, so that we will come up with the ideas for the customers also, so that they can also benefit from our service design in addition to their own.
Okay, thank you very much. We have a couple of questions in relation to the non-interruption of services. The first one, how do you ensure that BASEN never fails? And you mentioned your commitments towards non-interruption of services. As a customer, what ensures me that such interruption will not happen? If it does, what is your responsibility towards customers?
So we have built the platform always redundant, so that we have 2 data centers at least serving every single customer. So that if one of the data centers fails, then there is a full backup functionality for the customer. Of course, in some cases, when end customers are utilizing, let's say, only a single telecom operator, our service can be unreachable. But I believe that the key thing is that we have all the tools and all the kind of critical things at our own hands. So we can actually shift traffic even from Europe to US to Asia when necessary, because we have maintained also the full telecom operator capability. Further, in order to ensure to ourselves that we are fault tolerant and keep our promises, we actually have penalty clauses in most of our contracts, so our customers will get refund automatically if our service level doesn't meet the service level agreement.
Thank you very much, Pasi. We have 2 questions related to scalability. Does size matter? If I'm a very small business, will it make any sense for me to digitalize on top of your BASEN platform? And what is this second question? Just a moment.
Well, if I take the first one,
yes.
I remember our first quote to Trimble. That was more than 6 years ago, and the first reaction by the customer was that this is ridiculously cheap, and it means that we wanted to run that service design process and then create a minimum viable product. And it means that we can also do that for a smaller business, and in some cases we also are ready to take the risk with the entrepreneur, because we do understand entrepreneurs.
Thank you. That's the continuation of the question. Could you please explain the scalability aspect of the BASEN platform? How does it help businesses?
If you talk about the technical scalability. It means that you don't need to do a redesign when you move from 10 customers to 100 customers to million customers. So that we provide a clear path for the customer for that. But there is also the financial scalability, which is as important, so that we have to provide a clear path. What will it cost, and what are the tiers when the customer load is increasing on top of our platform, and when new services are built. That's always a challenge, because customers are sometimes unpredictable, and they find new ways of utilizing our customers' services that are then reflecting the BASEN. But the scalability on a technical level is based on our distributed architecture, where we have 6 patents on, and that is the kind of total foundation for the scalability.
Thank you, Pasi. A question from Yvonne Hotol. I hope I pronounce it.
Roald, if I'm not mistaken.
Roald, yes. Hello, Pasi. Great conference. A fringe of the population in many countries is opposed to the deployment of 5G. How do you see that slowing down or limiting the success of massive IoT for use cases like smart cities or vehicle automation?
Just like with the 1G or 2G, I believe that 5G applications will actually be different than what we are envisioning today. If we look at the smart cities, smart traffic, residential connectivity, 5G doesn't actually bring too much new to those areas, but they are being advertised a lot by the telecom manufacturers and also by the telcos. But just like with the short message service in 2G, that was never planned to be the kind of killer application, but it actually became a killer application. So now I had a more negative view on 5G before. However, now during the kind of COVID transformation, I believe that we might be able to find some new applications that would be needing the low latency and high bandwidth capabilities, and also utilizing the 60 gigahertz bands for a very small cell size. However, the price tag needs to be lower than before, not higher, as unfortunately is with many 5G cases.
Thank you. Now we have a couple of questions related to uncertainty. How do you plan for the unpredictable?
Oh, that's that. I could talk about that for the rest of the day, but I believe that we, just like I said before, we need to train our own people and our customers to unforeseen events, and also have sometimes these role plays that and then kind of disaster recovery plans where we run these almost like war games. That what will happen if our security is breached, or if we lose half of our data centers, or if we breach of trust with one customer, like leaking data or something like that, so that we have a clear path forward for people to act in those situations, so that we never paralyze.
And as a continuation to the same question, you have another app running about IoT failures. Have you encountered many failures among your customers? And if so, what were typical reasons for them failing?
If you speak about the IoT projects that customers have launched, I believe that it's a lack of real support at the customer, which is the biggest factor in when these projects fail. So that there is only a small part of the organization who really believes that this could generate some new business or transform the business. Many times there are internal fights that some people think that this is just an extension of marketing, which is it naturally is also, but it should never be only that.
Thank you. And we have two last more questions related to Spimes and digital twins. First question from Sanmi Pelkonen. What do you mean with next generation digital twin?
So Spime, which is also our trademark nowadays, is a next generation digital twin. And it means that it's not only a replica of logic or programming of a device or an object. Spime is actually the master object, so that the physical side is the replica. So that's the main difference between two of those. So Spime was originally coined by the science fiction author Bruce Sterling, where he wanted to apply it also to very simple things, that even if you have a QR code in a wine bottle, that there is already some kind of digital representation of the wine bottle, but we are putting a bit more computing and logic requirements on it.
Great. And as a continuation of that, how did you come across the concept of Spime originally? How did you decide that it will be the core concept of BASEN platform, and why?
Well, that actually came from my CTO, Eric Bunn, because he had read a book by Bruce Sterling, who has appeared in a couple of our Spime events. And that was the closest representation of kind of a real IoT object that we could find. And then because he was also frustrated that the concept had not taken more kind of publicity, and he was very happy to see our patent on it, and also the trademark. So that because he envisioned that already in 1997, and then it fell almost to oblivion.
Thank you very much, Pasi. This has been a very important part in BASEN, I remember, since I joined the company, and I was impressed with that terminology and that long-term vision.